Hey Scott, guess what? We are going to talk about how to make our very own Something is Killing the Children custom masks for less than $10. Hello everyone and welcome back to Married with Comics. I am your host Laura and this is the best scary killing husband. Something is killing the husband. Masked spouse, who is here to talk about our giveaway.
Yeah, so don't forget, once we hit that magic number of 1,000 subscribers, we will be giving away to somebody who actively participates on the channel. That means you got to comment, like, share, do something, right?
Absolutely.
A 9.4 slab spawn
Number 1. Along with a Married with Comics bookmark.
Yes.
Today we are going to show you a DIY mask option. Now, I made these in time for our Crack and Scored live show that we did for Halloween last year. And I made these specifically because the options that were available online were 20 bucks a piece, and most of them kind of covered the whole cowl, and they didn't have the actual shape that, of course, our main character does in the comic book. So I felt it was wrong and I needed to fix it, so I wanted to show you all how I did it and how I could make it for a heck of a lot less than what they're selling for right now online.
And if you don't like it, you can always watch, like this.
No. Okay, so you're gonna need 1/4 yard of stretchy black material, which cost me about $2. This is a paint pen, but actually I don't recommend using this and you'll see why. A pair of scissors, and this is a chalk marker. There are a couple different versions of this that you can use. This is my favorite, and then of course a reference picture. Cut your material in half so that way you can create 2 masks. When you fold it in half, you're trying to find the center point. I just kind of scratched it a little bit so that way I could see it easily on the other side, and I could use my chalk pen to create that line. You do want to hold it up to your face to figure out kind of where the mask should be falling on your face, so I kept using that as a reference and then kept referring to all the different photos just to try and figure out exactly how I wanted the teeth to kind of fall when I put on the mask. The other big thing is to determine just how wide you needed that toothy smile to go. So again, using the references, I just kind of played with it until I got the measurements just right. Obviously, because this should be equal on both sides, you want to make sure that all of your measurements are the same. And because you're dealing with chalk, you can easily use that same measurement that you put on the one piece to rub onto the other one, so that way you don't have to replicate everything. It's just an easy shortcut. Now for the teeth, I put each one of them about 1/2 inch apart, and then I gave a full inch for kind of the big fangs. And then of course I continued the measurements on the top and the bottom. The other thing that I wanted was sort of a reference line, so that way I could see just how big I wanted the teeth to go. Now if I could do this again, there are 2 things that I would change. Is the front 2 teeth before you get to the fangs should be more centered, and I probably would have moved the fangs a little bit closer to those front 2 teeth. I kind of created all the other teeth and did the fangs last, and I would probably reverse that. If you notice in the original reference photo, there's an automatic kind of smile grin that's happening, and I assumed that when you put on the mask that you would see the grin, and I didn't need to kind of add it naturally into the paint. However, I would change that so that way everything kind of angles up at the end very slightly. I did a couple different layers with this ink pen. The problem was it never showed up as brightly as the original smile should be. Now this is an acrylic white paint, and then I also had an iridescent white paint sitting around, which makes it a little bit glittery. You don't have to go to that extra step. Of course, you need a really fine point paintbrush, and then of course something to put your paint on. And notice how as soon as I started painting, instead of using the paint pen, it pops and it looks like it's supposed to. I did at least 2 layers of the paint just so that way it really stuck out. And then I used that pattern from the first mask to then replicate it for the second mask. Now this, I didn't realize that I hadn't panned the camera up, but what I did is I put on the mask temporarily to see just how low I wanted that bottom triangle to kind of lay on your face, and then used that as a pinpoint to then create my angle and then cut it in half. Ta-da! Our custom-made DIY masks. All we need is
the claw.
Our knives. You're afraid of the claw. Overall, is that I love how these turned out. They're great. The only thing I will say, if you are cosplaying as a character from Something is Killing the Children, they don't stay up very well on your nose when you're talking. So for pictures, they're awesome. As soon as you start talking, they will start sliding down, so I would incorporate some sort of nose band.
Or you could just talk without moving your lips or practice to be a ventriloquist as well as a cosplayer.
I don't think that's very effective.
No? Okay.
So let us know down in the comments section, would you create your own custom-made Something is Killing the Children masks? Or would you just buy it online and pay the extra money? This is Laura and Scott from Married with Comics, and we look forward to talking to you all again very soon. Have a great day, everyone.